Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Perceptivision. Today I'm going to be doing a tier list of the Dexter novels, saying that there is a resurgence in Dexter content, and that's pretty damn awesome. So let's begin with Darkly Dreaming Dexter. Darkly Dreaming Dexter is the blueprint for Season 1. This is a spoiler warning, which it shouldn't be if you already watched the show, specifically and only Season 1. You got the kill that happens on the first episode, the ice truck killer plot, and the twist. Now, because it was the basis for Season 1, it did have one major difference that separates it completely from the TV show, and that is that Brian lives, and they kill off LaGuardia, which sets the tone for the rest of the series. So I guess you can consider this the alternate ending. And for this, I put it S tier. For that reason, I put it on S tier, because who didn't like Season 1? Season 1 was amazing, and that book followed it very closely. It was the blueprint for Season 1. Now, for our second book is Dearly Devoted Dexter. Now, guys, be mindful that they did decide to reference the books less and less as the shows went on, because TV and writing are two different mediums which require a taste for different audiences. TV Dexter and novel Dexter are vastly different. I think that has to be said. So here comes the second book in the series, Dearly Devoted Dexter. Just like Season 2, there is no Lila, but the plot where James Dokes is on to Dexter is very relevant to this novel. Dokes believes Dexter is the killer of LaGuardia, while Dexter is trying to take down a PDF file. Dokes stalks Dexter just like in Season 2, but Dokes is captured instead. There are some very dark moments in this book, with the killer being a guy that plays hangman with his victims. James Dokes, referred to as Albert Dokes in the novels, does not die, but he is captured. I do recall this book having some dark humor and making me laugh. This one is an S tier. Very popular to the readers. I had a good time. Definitely. So let's put that right there. Now, let's get to Dexter in the Dark. The third book in the series is Dexter in the Dark. This book I do remember to an extent. I do remember not liking this book very much, and it was the weakest for me of the series. But basically, without spoiling, it has a supernatural theme that did not fit what the first two books were. It low-key sucked. It was like the Halloween Thorn trilogy when they connected Michael Myers to the Cult of Thorn. Well, they connected the Dark Passenger to a cult, and I believe that was the last time a supernatural element was ever explored in the series. But I vaguely remember him losing his edge in this book, I believe. Please correct me in the comments. Now, for this being the weakest in the series, unfortunately, will be a D tier. I didn't like it too much. It's a shame, but it is what it is. Dexter by Design. The fourth book in the series is Dexter by Design. I remember really liking this book because it introduced some dark but very creative ideas surrounding some stuff the show referenced but didn't really link to the books. If I recall correctly, Dexter and Rita go to Paris and attend an art show where there was an artist who was making art and or sculptures out of amputated body parts. It was unique. I would say, and this book, I believe, was the last hurrah, because after this it was a hit and miss for the rest of the series, and for that I give it an A rank. Definitely worth reading, and moving forward there is no more mention of supernatural elements and or cults. We just get something similar to the first and second book, but it wasn't stale personally. It's my favorite of the collection. It wasn't that bad. In this book, I think it's important to mention for plot development that Deborah is stuck between her loyalty to Dexter and arresting him. I also believe it's the first time he breaks the code and kills an innocent. The theme aims more for morality. You can see the adaptation or inspiration the show took in this book. Again, A rank. Definitely worth reading. Now, the fifth book being Dexter is Delicious. Dexter is Delicious. I cannot talk about this book without some type of spoilers because it's definitely one of those things that shows just how different the show is, like Villains, Who Lives, and spoiler warning, the birth of Dexter's daughter. Yep, Harrison is not a thing in the novels, and instead we are met with the daughter of Dexter Morgan, Lillian Morgan. Dexter is making an important decision as he's flooded with emotions about becoming a father and is deciding on quitting the trade while investigating a coven of cannibals. This could have been season 4, but not as interesting, but not bad, and for that it has earned its place in B tier. It's a good read. Now, the sixth book in the series, I do remember this one. This one was actually pretty dope. The sixth book in the series is Double Dexter. Now, Double Dexter for me was a fun read. I remember it had a lot to do with a copycat killer that was imitating Dexter. This book was a straight up cat and mouse game of who gets who first, and it was relatively a close one. This book, again, for context, highlights a significant difference from the show, so spoiler warning here. It's the first Aster and Cody kill, another gargantuan difference from the show as we got two boring ass kids on the show. But I think it was better for the show's sake. This book was fun but slow, and for that I'm giving it a C tier. Now for the seventh book in the series is Dexter's Final Cut. This was interesting because in this book a crime show is being filmed in Miami and Dexter and Deborah are tasked as technical advisors on set. So it's really just Hollywood comes to Miami. Deborah pairs with an actress and Dexter an actor. In all honesty, you look deeper into this book and it just gets really weird, and not in a good way, as we are dealing with themes of PDF files. Rita dies and Dexter is being framed for murder and PDF-philia, which will be the setup for the last book. I rank this book C tier. It's strange and kind of graphic. TV Dexter was way more on point. Sorry about that, guys. Now for our last one. This is a book that I'm currently reading right now. Dexter is Dead. Now here we are at the last book, 8th book of the Dexter novels, the final novel, which ended better than the show. Dexter is dead. Dexter is being framed for the murder of Robert Chase, Rita, Jackie Frost, and Kathy, when this time of all times, after everything he's done, Dexter is actually innocent. And Brian, making a comeback since Dexter is Delicious, has a plan to prove Dexter's innocence. This had corruption at the highest levels, and man, Masuka was the freaking man in this book. The realest. Like, the best side character, and honestly a bunch of shenanigans happens that become high stake between Dexter possibly going to jail or losing his life. This book, I give it an A tier because too much shit happens that consistently raise the stakes and it goes out with a bang. A tier, fantastic book. Would have been S, but we are talking last book. We may never get another one. I really hope you guys like it. I really hope you guys decide to go ahead and check out these books. They're definitely a fun read. And I hope you guys I don't know. What would you put it at? What do you guys think of these books? Uh, have you ever read any of them? Let me know in the comments.